What's up? What's up? It's Coach Nick Money in the house with the indelible one,
Yes.
DBL Nix,
In the house.
aka
The Rainmaker.
yeah. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right. So today we got a heck of a show for you.
Got a show.
We got a show for you. So let's start by asking for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Why don't you?
Subscribe.
Could you do what this young man says if you don't mind?
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share.
Because sharing is caring, doubles. It really, truly is. So let's do a share party, folks. Let's do a share party. Share.
People.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. All right. Also, if you're not following us on X.com, a.k.a. Twitter, you want to do that at Coach Nick Money.
Coach Nick Money.
At Coach Nick Money. We are the only folks that are putting out content from 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, monitoring and checking out the small cap market. Nobody does that except we do. Facts, baby, facts. Okay. You could also follow us on Twitch at Coach Nick Money.
At Coach Nick Money.
You can follow us on Facebook at Coach Nick Money.
Coach Nick Money.
Instagram at Coach Nick Money.
At Coach Nick Money.
And of course, last but not least,
Yes.
TikTok at DBL Nicks.
DBL Nicks.
At DBL NICKS. And of course, the screen name is
Coach Nick Money.
Coach Nick Money. Ladies and gentlemen, we are providing a link in the description and in the pinned comment so that you can take advantage of a 4-day trial to check out our Discord, where we do a lot of our high-end live streaming, where we share the various tools that we use for our trading and how we find these parabolic runners, because of course we find a lot of parabolic runners a lot of times, and of course we trade them. Yeah, a lot of bangers, baby. We also give you the first look at our alerts very early. All the alerts come into the Discord first before they make it to social media. So you want to take advantage of that. The link's in the description and in the pinned comment. 4-day trial, $1.99. Well worth it. See it for your own eyes. See it for your own eyes. Okay, so for example, today we call PEV. PEV for our private Discord members. And of course, it went up 218% in after hours. You can see it right here. It had news. And of course, we reported it to our Discord because that's what we do. PW was reported to our Discord earlier in the day, and it too went up 125%. 125%. But the purpose of this video is not to call the bangers like we do in the morning.
No.
Not Microcap Mornings. Microcap Mornings is tomorrow. That'll be at tomorrow. Usually around what time, Doubles?
It's normally around 8:30
Eastern Standard Time, right? Eastern
Time.
Standard, 8:30, and that's where we call a lot of bangers a lot of times. But this episode,
I mean, we always
Doubles,
call a lot of bangers a lot of times.
that is true.
Yes.
But this particular episode is part of the series called Coach Nick Money Matters,
Yes.
and it's a little bit different. We get into interesting topics that have an effect on finances and potentially even the stock market.
Yes.
So, folks, let's share the stream. Let's get some people in here so that we can discuss the topic of the day. And it's going to be a particular dive into the Longshoreman strike, which is affecting most of the East Coast, from Maine all the way to the south in Texas, right around the horn, if you will. 45,000 longshoremen currently on strike. We're going to take a peek initially at the potential effects on the overall markets and economies of the U.S., and then we'll go into a deeper dive as to why this strike is happening, and we'll peruse the different issues that are prevalent and pertinent to the topic. So let's get started right away. And as I said, we're focusing on the longshoreman strike that's happening right now in key ports. Okay, we're going to explore how this strike will ripple through various industries week by week over the next 2 months. Hopefully it won't last that long, but if it does, this will be a dive into that. From retail to manufacturing and even agriculture. We'll discuss the supply chain disruptions that could have long-lasting impacts on businesses and consumers alike. And later in this episode, we'll also navigate the labor and automation on the dock debate in depth, because that's really a main component to this issue. So let's talk about the immediate effect, Doubles.
Yeesh.
What's going to happen within the next 2 weeks? The first 2 weeks, right? Let's take a look at it. All right. So ports handle a large portion of U.S. imports and exports.
Oh, yeah.
And these ports, Doubles, are gateways for industries like retail, electronics, auto manufacturing. And in the first 2 weeks, we'll likely see a bottleneck of cargo. Goods will pile up at the ports because there won't be enough people to unload and move the containers, right? So retailers who depend on frequent shipments of goods, especially those relying on just-in-time inventory, will begin to feel the pinch. For example, companies like Walmart and Target,
Yep.
without fresh stock coming in, they'll struggle to meet customer demand, especially as we move closer to the holiday season.
It also means a lot of stuff's going to be more expensive.
And there's not going to be enough of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Low supply, high demand.
Yeah.
Guess what happens?
Prices go up.
Prices go up.
And there's shortages.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is not going to be a protracted strike, I would say.
Yeah, I hope
Protracted.
not.
Because that
That
would be
would suck.
problematic, Doubles, you know?
That would suck.
Yeah, it would really suck. Electronic companies could also face shortages of components, delaying the production of smartphones, computers, and oh no, might I also say, gaming consoles. No! Why have you forsaken me?
Just in
Not
time
that.
for almost the Christmas season, too. Hey. Yeah, don't
I'm having a little sippy poo.
Yeah.
A little sippy poo.
A little sippy poo.
A little sippy poo to parch my thirst.
Yes, please.
My thirst. What's most concerning in these early weeks is that the disruption will affect seasonal goods. For retailers, especially those preparing for Black Friday and holiday sales, delays in these shipments could mean missing out on critical sales windows, leading to revenue losses. So we really hope that that doesn't happen. We're hoping that this resolves itself relatively soon.
Yeah.
Folks, let's share the stream. Let's get some people in here because this is a hot tomato topic, right? A hot tamale. A hot tamale it is. All right, so moving on to the midterm effects, weeks 3 through 6 is when the strike could impact more noticeably across multiple sectors. Here's where industries like the automotive, manufacturing, agricultural start to experience major slowdowns. In the automotive sector, ports play a crucial role in both importing cars and exporting finished vehicles. So companies like Ford, GM, and Tesla rely on a steady stream of imports to maintain production. By the third week, delays in parts like semiconductors, which are already in short supply, will start causing factory slowdowns or even temporary closures. Every week a factory halts production leads to millions of dollars in losses and further disrupts the availability of new cars. In agriculture, the effects will be just as severe, particularly for the export of perishable goods. Farmers rely on timely shipments to international markets to sell their goods, and any delay Doubles in transporting products like soybean, wheat, and fruits could lead to spoilage, and we don't want that. No. That would really schnuck instead of it would really schnuck.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yes, that would not be good. Not good. It's particularly critical for farmers who need to move their harvests before the winter season. Over time, this could result in food shortages in international markets and reduced income for American farmers, and that's never a good thing. Never a good thing. We like the farmers. We like the food. I'm just saying. The food is okay. It's okay by me. Additionally, chemical manufacturers who export raw materials to industries across the globe will start to face difficulties as shipments get delayed. This will have a knock-on effect in industries like plastics and pharmaceuticals, further slowing down production lines globally. So that's a problem.
That's a big problem.
That's a problem, folks. So we're talking about what could happen with this Longshoreman strike if it becomes protracted over a couple of months. We're hoping that that's not the case. You know, the government could intercede with, I think, with the Taft-Hartley Act, which allows the government to basically say that the union members have to go back to work for a cooling down period. But, you know, hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully they can come to an agreement and this ends relatively soon. But it doesn't seem like it is at the moment. They seem like they're pretty far apart, actually. So, anyway. By week 7 and 8, we'll see the long-term implications of the strike start to unfold, especially in global markets. At this point, industries like technology and energy will experience significant disruptions. In the technology sector, major companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Intel all rely on both importing components and exporting finished products. With sustained delays at the port stubbles, supply chains will seize up, leading to delays in product launches and shortages in retail stores. The holiday season is right around the corner, and it's critical for tech companies, and it could particularly be affected. Consumers waiting for the largest gadgets might see fewer available products, and businesses may face backlogs in orders, leading to financial loss. So this could get pretty nasty pretty quick when you deal with the supply chain. We saw what happened when things got shut down in 2020, right?
Yeah,
and it was pretty, I don't know.
It was crazy.
No bueno. No bueno. Time for a beverage, Doubles.
Yep.
So hopefully, we're not going to see the same thing happen this time around, right? With this potential strike, all right? The energy sector will also start to feel the strain. Many energy companies import equipment for oil and gas extraction, and they rely on port services for the export of refined oil products. A prolonged strike could disrupt refinery schedules, lead to fluctuations in energy prices, and particularly for heating oil and gasoline as winter approaches. And that's always when those prices tend to go up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you need oil to heat your house.
Yeah, you do.
And you need gasolina
So that won't
to
be
move
good.
your vehicles.
People going to be popsicles.
Yeah.
You know.
So by this point, the strike could cause industries to permanently shift supply chains. Some businesses may turn to air freight as an alternative, but this is a far more expensive route.
Yeah.
And others might reroute their shipments to ports outside the affected areas, such as in Canada or Mexico, but that adds complexities and costs, right?
Boy.
So anyway, so that's the story. Let's take a look at what SPY is doing overall.
Yeah.
Let's see how it's doing. Let's go
Let's take a
back 20 days. Okay,
I'm
it
guessing
was
that's
it
what
was
the
going
opposition
up, and now it's kind of pulling back somewhat. Nothing horrendous, but it is pulling back. Okay, so who knows if it has anything to do with the strike or if it's just a natural pullback? We don't know.
And it's not going to affect any specific industry. It'll
It'll-
ripple throughout the economy.
I pretty much it'll ripple throughout all the industries pretty much with time if it goes that longer. So the broader economic impact and potential solutions are what's really important. The Longshoreman strike won't just affect specific industries like you said. It'll ripple through the broader economy.
Yep.
With disrupted supply chains, inflationary pressures could increase,
Oh yeah.
pushing up prices for goods across the board.
Oh my God.
The longer the strike lasts, the
Yeah.
more consumers will feel these effects in everyday purchases, from groceries to gas to holiday gifts, and it's not as if inflation hasn't already taken its toll, if you will, right?
It has.
So what's the solution, Doubles?
All right, well-
Inquiring minds want to know.
there's a
Inquiring
couple.
minds want to know.
There's two I can think of right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, negotiation between the International Longshoreman Union and port operators are ongoing, but automation remains a major sticking point. Yeah, both sides are holding firm. Unions want job security, while operators argue that automation is essential to staying competitive in the global market. the government may eventually intervene, either by applying pressure on both sides to reach a compromise or by considering policies that mitigate the effects of automation. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay?
That's gonna be
As,
a big one.
as we've discussed, Doubles, the longshoreman strike is much more than a labor dispute. It has far reaching effects that will be felt across industries and throughout the economy, whether it's retail, agriculture, manufacturing, or technology. No sector is immune, like you said, Doubles.
No.
Right? And the disruptions could be pretty significant because of the strike.
Yeah.
And if it goes more than just a few days, it becomes more and more complex and more potentially dangerous to the economy.
I mean,
Yeah. So the question is, we all have to consider how can businesses, workers, and governments adapt to an increasingly automated and globalized world? Can we strike a balance between technology and advancements and preserve jobs? Only time's going to tell on that.
yeah, no. Only time will tell.
But you know what we have to do now,
Yeah.
Doubles? We now have to take a deeper dive into the longshoreman strike and the key issue of dock automation, because that is a major component to why the longshoremen are striking. I mean, obviously they want more money, but this question of automation is very, very big for them. So let's talk about that for a while.
They want job security. That I know for a fact.
They want to keep the jobs.
They want to not be replaced.
They don't want to get replaced by automation.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Yeah.
As dock workers stand their ground, one of the most contentious issues, obviously, is automation. And what does automation mean for the future of dock labor? How does it affect the workers, the companies, and global trade? Because it's multifaceted.
Oh yeah.
We'll break this down, explore different perspectives, and discuss what this strike means for the future of labor in an increasingly automated world. So let's get into a little bit of the background, right? Longshoremen are basically dock workers, and they're responsible for loading and unloading and managing goods at ports. These workers are part of the supply chain, and they're represented by a powerful union called the International Longshoreman and Warehouse Union in the United States.
The ILW.
Yeah. The current strike involves tens of thousands of workers from ports across the U.S., and in many major hubs, which handle a significant share of U.S. imports.
Like
Now let's share. Let's share the stream. Let's share the stream, folks. Go ahead. Let's share it. Let's go ahead and share the stream. Let's get some people in here. Let's share, because we're gonna do a deep dive. So the reason behind the strikes are multifaceted. Pay, working conditions, and job security all play a role, but the one issue that's grabbing the most headline is automation. Automation has been creeping into various industries, but it's now starting to fundamentally alter how ports operate. While automation may increase efficiency and reduce costs, it poses a direct threat to dock worker jobs. So this is at the crux of what they're concerned about.
Yeah.
So what exactly does automation look like at a port? Well, unlike other industries, Doubles, where robots or AI systems replace workers in factories, automation in ports takes on a more logistical form.
Yeah.
You've got automated cranes,
Yep.
self-driving autonomous trucks,
Yep.
and robotic container handlers.
You know what it reminds me of?
What's that, Doubles?
You remember the Amazon
The
video with the Amazon where the robots were stacking the boxes
in the warehouses. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I think of immediately as soon as I hear.
No, I think this is on a much larger scale, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I agree with
I
you.
mean, I think it's that, but on a larger scale.
Way larger, right?
Yeah.
These machines work faster than humans. They operate 24/7, making them a cost-effective option for port operators. How about that?
Oh yeah, I mean, makes
So
sense.
at some ports, automated cranes can lift containers more quickly than a human controlling a crane could.
Yep.
Similarly, automated guided vehicles, AGVs, transport containers from one part of the port to another, reducing the need for human operated vehicles.
Yep.
These technologies promise to improve port efficiency, reduce congestion, and ultimately lower the cost of shipping goods around the world.
Yep.
But there's a flip side to the coin. For every robot or automated vehicle deployed, there's potentially one less job for a longshoreman.
Yeah.
And in essence, that's the crux of the conflict. How do you balance efficiency with job preservation? While port operators argue that automation will lead to safer and more efficient working environments, unions argue that it will decimate good-paying middle-class jobs. Now, that's interesting that they call them good-paying middle-class jobs, because I'm hearing that with overtime they're getting like $200,000, and the union boss is getting $900,000 a year. So,
Yeah, so
that's you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know?
Whoa.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just saying.
They're paying, but they want more
Middle
pay.
middle class don't sound like 200,000 a year. I'm just saying.
And plus, they're saying they're saying all the good paying middle class jobs, but
Yeah.
meanwhile,
I don't know.
They're upset about the pay. I'm just saying.
You know, and they also want a 77% increase over the next couple of years.
What?
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get the point that they don't want to lose their jobs, and I'm with them on that. I get it.
77?
But the flip side of it is they're making a lot of money.
Oh yeah, dude. That's
a lot of
push.
money, and I could see why they would get upset if those jobs get decimated. I could see it.
I
you
can
know,
see it.
because I mean, where are you going to make that kind of money? You know,
Exactly. That's
it's
a lot
not
of dough.
those jobs aren't. How should I put it?
You know, they're not.
Found easily.
Yeah,
We got a message here. Hello, Coach. What your thoughts on MAXN? Well, we're not really talking about the tickers right now.
Yeah, no,
That's going to be tomorrow morning.
That's tomorrow morning.
But yeah, we'll talk about that
talk
tomorrow
about that
morning.
tomorrow
Right now,
morning,
we're doing a deep dive in
Longshoreman strike.
Longshoreman strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll put the chart up for you.
Yeah.
I will put the chart up for you. Let's go to 5 minute on that and put it up. And MAXN, and we can see that it is on a downtrend and it's channeling, so it's going to need volume to bounce back up. But let's get back to the topic at hand here. All right, so you know, let's look at it from the workers' perspective, right? Because they're the ones that are most affected by automation. For many of these workers, this isn't just about the present, it's about job security for future generations. I'd venture to guess that a lot of these folks have their children come into the industry and so on and so forth, and they become part of the union and so on and so forth. I'm guessing that's what the situation is. And the ILWU, which is the International Longshoreman and Warehouse Union, has been a vocal in opposing widespread automation. They argue that the introduction of robots and automation will lead to job losses that the workforce can't easily recover from. And I think that's probably a valid argument, you know?
Yeah.
Here's a quote from a union leader during the strike. The idea that automation is inevitable is just wrong. It's a choice, and that choice will have devastating consequences for working families once these jobs are gone. They'll not come back. Now, that makes sense, but then the flip side of it is if you follow that logic, well, then when cars came out and horses became, obsolete, were we supposed to keep horses, taking care of things?
Yeah, exactly.
And not use cars to protect jobs for a few? I don't know. I mean, I get where they're coming from, and maybe there's a balance that could be struck. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. You know?
It's a very...
It's because it's a sticky situation. I get where they're coming from, but at the same token, progress is progress. I mean, if you want to call it progress, I don't know if it's progress. I don't know if it is, But, yeah, you know what I mean? But here's a little bit more of what they're arguing.
We live in a technological renaissance, if you will.
Yeah, it's just moving at light speed, and it's posing a lot of issues.
Oh, yeah.
Because we can't really predict the full impact of all of the stuff that's happening, and it's not like you're going to be able to take a dock worker and retrain them to do whatever the future jobs are.
Exactly.
And the longshore, they might have to seek other employment, and they may or may not be qualified. So I mean, these are definitely concerns that they have, and they're valid. You know,
Valid concerns, don't get me wrong.
according to a study by the International Transport Forum, automation could potentially eliminate up to 50% of port jobs globally by 2040. So that's a lot of jobs.
That's a lot of
Over
jobs.
16 years. That's a lot of jobs. You know,
That's half the jobs.
with fewer jobs available, many workers worry that younger generations will have fewer opportunities for stable, well-paying employment. Well, I mean, in that sector, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's not just about job loss. There's also the issue of the changing nature of work. Even as automation takes over some tasks, new jobs may be created to manage, maintain, and monitor automated systems. However, as I said before, these roles often require different skills such as programming or technical expertise, which longshoremen may not have been trained for
Just like
or
we said.
qualified for,
Yeah.
right? So that's the longshoremen's situation and their perspective. Let's look at the employer's perspective.
Yep.
On the other side of the debate, you've got the port operators and shipping companies. They argue that automation isn't just about saving money, it's about staying competitive.
Both of which are important.
Yeah. Ports around the world, especially in Europe and Asia, have already adopted automation at a faster rate than in the United States.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah.
So now you know if you're not competitive, you're gonna get beaten. You're gonna lose business and potentially go out of business. At which point, your union contract may not be valid.
And to top that off, I mean, it's also saving them money. Let's be real.
Yeah. Oh, of course it's saving them money, without a doubt. I mean, but that's what a business is supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah,
So I mean,
exactly.
listen, this is at the very least a twin-edged sword, and maybe more than that, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So I mean, it's a rough situation across the board. In Rotterdam in Europe, for instance, fully automated terminals are the norm. They're not the exception, they're the norm. If U.S. ports don't keep up, the argument goes, they risk losing business to more efficient automated ports overseas, which it's a valid argument. Here's what an executive from a major shipping company had to say. Quote, automation is not just an option, it's a necessity. Global trade is growing and ports need to operate more efficiently to handle the increased volume. Automation is the only way to achieve that level of efficiency. End quote. Furthermore, port operators highlight the benefit of automation in terms of safety and reliability. Ports are dangerous places to work with heavy machinery and containers constantly moving. By reducing the number of human workers in dangerous areas, automation could lead to fewer accidents and injuries.
Which
I
also
mean,
leads
it,
to less
it sounds,
legal
you know, but
cases.
at the end of the day, I think they're trying to cut their costs
Yeah,
and
they're
increase their profit
really
margin.
just trying to cut their
Let's call it what it is. And again, I don't hate on them,
Oh, no,
but
I
let's
get
call it what it is,
Yeah, let's
right?
call it what it is. Granted.
And I
will
think
say,
I think both parties have a
Yeah.
valid argument, and I think both parties are at fault.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Yeah, I mean, granted, I will say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a workplace accident or a workplace injury, they can be sued too. You gotta take that. into
Well,
account.
there's workers' compensation for
Well,
that,
yeah,
so
there's
they don't
workers-
necessarily get sued, but
yeah,
that also potentially raises costs as well, right?
Yeah, that does. So that too. When you think
So
about it.
anyway, let's go into this a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. There's also an issue of global supply chain.
Yep.
As we saw during the 2020 pandemic, 2020 pandemic, disruptions at ports can have ripple effects across industries. Automated ports are seen as a way to avoid these bottlenecks by operating 24/7 without the need for breaks or shifts.
Yeah, robots
that's a-
can't get sick.
So that's a pretty valid argument, right?
They can't get sick.
For the operators, automation represents not just a cost-saving measure, but also a solution to global logistic challenges. All right?
Yep.
So, what's the broader economic and political impact of all this? You know? I mean, beyond the immediate impact on workers and port operators, the longshoreman strike and the automation debate have broader economic and political implications. The U.S. economy is heavily reliant on imports and exports, and ports are the critical gateways through which goods flow. If automation leads to fewer workers at ports, it could reduce labor costs, which might make imports cheaper and more competitive. But that also means fewer well-paying jobs in local economies that depend on the port industry.
So you'd have lower costs, but these guys probably wouldn't have much money to pay for certain costs anyway.
Right. So yeah, again, it goes into that multi-sided sword type of a situation.
Exactly. So.
On the political side, this issue is gaining national attention. Labor unions have long been a significant force in the U.S. politics, and many elected officials, especially from coastal states, are weighing in on the strike. Some are advocating for more worker protections and regulations on how and when automation can be implemented, and others are arguing that we need to embrace automation to keep pace with global competitors. Doubles at the federal level. There's also the question of how the government will handle policies around labor and automation. Will there be a retraining program for workers displaced by automation? Will there be regulations that limit the use of automated systems in certain industries? These are pretty important questions, folks.
These are very important questions.
So we're going to leave it at that because we don't have the answers, but we wanted to present the issues that are, arising because of the situation, and we also wanted to shed some light on what to expect if this strike continues for an indefinite period of time. We've basically drawn a roadmap of what could happen over the next 2 months if this goes that long. Hopefully it won't. And hopefully there'll be a resolution soon enough. Okay? Hopefully. But we'd like you to share with us what you think is going to happen.
What solutions you think
and is there a way to introduce automation without devastating the workforce? What are your thoughts? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat.
And that, folks, is another one of the phantasmic Coach Nick Money Matters episodes, The Longshoreman Strike, Navigating Labor and Automation on the Docks. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Yes.
And tomorrow morning, we will be back at it with the one and only Microcap Mornings show, where we call a lot of bangers. A lot of times, baby. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel and do what this young man says, please.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded, and remember to share.
Sharing helps us grow, folks. So the more you share, the more we grow, the more content we put out. We're now putting out the Microcaps Morning Show. We're putting out the Coach Nick Money Matters Show. And, of course, we put out a lot of due diligence videos on top of that. And that's made possible because of you. We want to thank you.
Yes.
Every time you share, you help the stream grow. And by helping the stream grow, we show you our heartfelt warmth and appreciation by putting out more and more content. So thank you so much. We love you dearly for everything you've done and are doing. Also, we are putting out a tremendous amount of content on x.com, aka Twitter, at Coach Nick Money.
At Coach Nick Money.
At Coach Nick Money, where we monitor the microcap market from 4 a.m. in the morning all the way through to 8 p.m. in the evening Eastern Standard Time. Who does that, Doubles? Nobody.
Nobody.
Except us. We do it. We do it.
Yes.
Double bicep.
Curl.
Curl, baby.
Yes.
Little flex going on there.
Little flex.
We're also on Facebook at Coach Nick Money.
At Coach Nick Money.
We're on Twitch at Coach Nick Money.
At Coach Nick Money.
Instagram at Coach Nick Money.
At Coach Nick Money.
And we're on TikTok at DBL Nicks.
At DBL Nicks.
At DBL Nicks. And the screen name is Coach Nick Money.
Yes, sir.
And of course, we're always going to invite you to come and check us out in action on our private Discord, where we do almost daily live streaming of the Morning Bell, where we share strategies and ideas, our entry and exit points, and all the different tools and indicators that we use to have a successful trading journey. We share that with you during the live streams, and of course you'll have access to all of our early alerts of parabolic runners. Some of them are a day or two in advance, some of them are hours in advance, And, of course, we're always early to the show because the early bird
It's the K.
gets the cash. Forget about the worms. Gets the cash.
Hey.
The cash, all right? So the
Okay,
link's
should
in
go
the
buy
description.
ribeye.
The link is in the description for a 4-day trial for $1.99. And it's also in the pinned comment. Okay, much love. It's Coach Nick Money.
And DBL Knicks.
And stay greenable. Make a lot of money.
Yes.
Because I am Coach Nick Money, and I am with my compatriot, the one and only
DBL
DBL Knicks,
Knicks,
a.k.a.
The Ringmaker.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Microcap Mornings on social media.